Hey, welcome everybody. This is like version 2 of the tutorial that I was thinking about releasing yesterday. And the only thing that's different is I pre-recorded sections and I have a mouse cursor so I can stop instead of trying to explain it on the fly. Because the more that I thought about it, it kind of looked like the commentary was behind in terms of like trying to explain stuff, which wasn't really ideal. Not that I think there's a huge amount to explain already. But it's a lot easier if I can just go like this, then obviously like stop accordingly and point out a section and be like, okay, here with the mouse. So with that said, this is Beardblade. The route is heavily subject to change. There's a really good Discord that I created, and I'll link it in the description. But it's a very modern game, and the developers are actually really good. And they've released like 10 patches or more, probably patching out multiple different things. One of which was actually a tutorial skip. So in the past, you could actually skip to the tutorial and save about 4 minutes, but now we can't do that anymore because they're really on top of their game and they patched a lot of stuff. But they've also patched in a lot of kind of like quality of life improvements that actually make the speedrun a little bit better and more manageable. So it's been a very interesting experience, a very fun experience, running such a modern game with very active developers. But these developers are really good. I do like them a lot. So right off the start, you can literally see there's a tutorial level. This cutscene and this next cutscene right here, you can both skip just by pushing start. So you just have to mash start, you'll automatically skip both of these two. And I think the way that I'll format these is I'll say, okay, well, you know, we have to run right at the very beginning, but because you can see everything afterwards, after I'm done explaining all of this section or pointing out like certain things, I'll go back and I'll replay the video so it's uninterrupted. So that way you can kind of see like the flow of everything and you don't have to like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with me stopping and interrupting like every 2 minutes or every 2 seconds, whatever the case is. So tutorial stage is pretty straightforward for the most part. Branson at this point can only really run and jump, so that's all we have to work with. We get abilities later on. Branson actually lives in extreme poverty. He has money issues in this game. In the speedrun, there's kind of like a day and a night route, and the day stages and the night stages, like each stage on the overworld can be a day or a night stage. It's actually very cool how they designed it, because casually you're supposed to go in, I assume, beat the day stage, and then go back in the same stage and beat the night stage. But what's so cool about that is the day and the night stages just aren't palette swaps, like it's not just nighttime or something like that. So a day stage can be an auto-scroller, but the night stage can be a swimming level, and they're just completely different stages. There's nothing like them, there's nothing similar, there's no overlapping. So you can run sometimes left to right depending on which stage that you're entering from like what point in time. Tutorial is pretty easy, we just start running right, and we keep running right here. Branson has a little bit of air to his jump, so you can kind of see, you know, like as I was jumping here, I turned left a little bit, so you can kind of like barely see that. And you'll see that coming through here because we want to catch a couple of cycles early, and to do that we can't really be bumping on the ledges. Here we just hold down and push jump. It's pretty straightforward. You fall through the platform, and you come up. You do the exact same thing. So there's a really cool mechanic you can see here. You can jump on this mouse. You can jump on most enemies in this game with exception to like 2 or 3. But when Branson jumps, his jump is a little bit more springy compared to like when he jumps normally. But there's a lot of jumps in enemies in this game where you can like go here, for example, not have to break your forward momentum. You can jump on this mouse and then you can jump over completely by holding the jump button to clear this little area. So I always thought that was a really good mechanic. The enemies in this game like aren't completely invincible. Coming into here, you hold down and right. It's obviously on the tutorial prompt as well, but Branson can crawl. It's actually pretty interesting that they put this in here. It's right in the tutorial, but even casually there's a lot of stages that you don't really crawl in, so I found that kind of an interesting design choice because like as we went through the game blind originally for the first time, there's not a lot of sections. It's like really the tutorial and maybe like 1 or 2 other stages, so it's kind of interesting they put this in and then they kind of are like, oh okay, let's not really make him crawl, but I get it too. Like Branson crawls really slowly compared to his other movement. So the first part is when we get up here, we have to make like shorter jumps. He has variable jump height, so it's a lot harder to control like some of these jumps. Like you don't just hold A or whatever and you get the same jump if you tap A. So we want to cut these jumps a little bit short, because if we cut them short and then fall down this first rope here, we can make this cannon cycle so we don't get hit and we don't get hit. Here too, there's a little bit of a weird jump. You can literally see, and I do have kind of like frame by frame going on here. Here, when Branson jumps, you see how I again turn for just a few frames and then I turn around like that. If you don't turn around, it's possible that you'll bump here, and it actually is a little bit sensitive, because if you bump here or if you fall down that other section and you get hit, you'll get hit by these two cannons coming up, because this one will barely miss you as you're coming up here. So you really don't want to waste time. As you're falling down into this section, you want to fall literally right here, about this section right here, and immediately start holding up, because it'll trigger the cutscene and this guy will start talking. This guy, he is the unskippable text boss. He will show up multiple times in the course of the run, and there's nothing that we can do to stop him from talking. So he really likes talking. He's basically telling you to free him, and you have to basically like hold up and diagonal and jump as the text box goes away, and you'll knock off his shackles and stuff like that, so he'll be able to be freed. From here, he's got more things to say. I think there's like 5 or 6 unskippable cutscenes or something. They all involve this guy. He is literally the unskippable text boss. Luckily, he doesn't show up too much. There's also a giant cat that has a lot to say as well. But he is the true final boss, literally, actually. He's kind of, I mean, like later on when you go through this story, you'll see exactly everything that happens. So, this door, I actually don't know. There's probably a better way to do this. We've been talking about it in the Discord as I make this. Normally, I hit it twice, and this door actually recoils you very far back. So, you hit it twice, I walk up to it again, hit it twice, I walk up to it again, and then I jump and I hit it. And when Branson is jumping and punching, you'll see it in later stages, he doesn't lose any momentum, but if he's standing and punching, or attacking, whatever you want to call it, he does lose a little bit of momentum, because it's kind of like a standing slash, where he has some forward mobility, but it's slower than jumping and punching. So there's probably a better way to do this door. I just don't know exactly what it would be like right now. So it's funny. It's like one of the first things. So you see I did 2 again. I got pushed back the first time too hard. And then, yeah, we just hit it again. So we just continue to hold right. This is where you'll start to see kind of like the forward momentum. So jumping here, you can come down, and then if you attack while Branson is in the air, he's got kind of like a forward fist going down. So you want to jump, not stand here, and as you're falling, hit these boxes, and you'll see how clean it is, because you can destroy the boxes like that, lose no forward momentum, and then continue to run forward. So you want to jump on this box, jump over these boxes and do the exact same thing, destroy that. And then from here, same thing. Just jump from about here, destroy these boxes, and then destroy these 2 boxes, so you can make it through that little gap. You want to jump and again, destroy these boxes, common theme. And same here, we can jump and destroy this box and just kind of like run on through with, again, not stopping. Here, there's kind of a bit of a weird jump. It does save like 0.5. Normally people like run down here, run up here, and they jump like 3 times to come up to the screen transition. There is a bit of a tight jump. It's not super tight, but you can jump from about here onto this platform, and then you can go up there, and you can save yourself this jump right here. So this saves about like 0.5 or so. Coming into here, there's a couple of sections that maybe could be better. Again, this tutorial is all relative to change. I'm just making it on the fly as I continue to route it myself. So you can jump on this mouse, and you'll again see when I get to this section, falling, I literally turn around for a couple of frames and then go like that to avoid bonking this wall. Because when you come up to this cannon, if you bonk this wall, this cannon will probably shoot you. It's actually a pretty tight cycle to make. And when Branson is jumping, you really want him to kind of turn around earlier than you would expect. Like, don't land on this platform and then turn around. You want to kind of be turning around in the air to cut his momentum, because he kind of has like a floaty jump. But yeah, so we want to make this cycle by coming up to here and then jumping. We'll be able to run just ahead of the cannonball and miss it. But if you get stuck on that other thing, obviously that's the thing. This goblin right here, I'm not 100% sure what to do. I usually take a hit on him and just damage boost through, because taking a hit and running through is faster than attacking him twice or 3 times. I can't remember what it is right now that it takes to kill him. but standing here and slashing him is slower. It's possible that you could jump on his head and go through. I've done that a couple of times, but I think when he's attacking, it's no longer possible to jump on his head, but I'm not 100% sure about that. This goblin does hit me more often than not, and I would say this goblin right now is a weak area currently in the route. I don't know if there's a better way to deal with him. And actually, speaking of stuff, when you're running through on this cannon section, I completely forgot about that. We do want to gather some money, but we don't want to gather money that's not out of the way. It is possible to jump and grab this coin, which is worth $20, and not lose a huge amount of time and also not get stuck in that rope. Also not get hit by this cannonball, but this is actually a very tight sequence of events. And I did go through and I routed everything to see how much money that I have before there's kind of like an exploit that we use to gather money. And I'm not 100% sure anymore if this coin is worth it, but it's possible that this coin still might be worth it, so keep it in mind. Collecting this coin might not be a bad idea, but in terms of current money route, I don't think it makes much of a difference. But again, this is all heavily subject to change. So as I said, we damage boost off this guy. We jump up here. These are checkpoints right there, that little barbershop thing, and we enter the first boss. We can skip this cutscene again, and the first boss is pretty easy. We just wait by this red switch. He'll blink a couple of times here, and then you move out of the way, and then he'll blink 2 more times. So 1, we just want to avoid the shot right here, and then 2, avoid the shot right here. And then on the 3rd shot, there's going to be a button that comes onto screen, and this is how we quick kill this guy in like the fastest amount of time. So this boss has a lot of recoil as well. He actually sends you flying when you hit him. I think he's programmed to like charge you every other hits, like 1, 3, and 5, or maybe it's like 2 and then 4 or something like that. But you see, he stops and then he runs. He did hit me here. As long as you have 1 extra health, he's not a really big deal. He takes 5 hits to destroy. So that little thing that was popping up here, his clothes or something, you have to wait like a second before you grab it. It's not immediate that it's in the air. You can immediately grab it, and then from here we just run right. So this pretty much ends the rest of that. And we can skip through these 2 last cutscenes by pushing start, and we're sent to the overworld. So that's the tutorial. It takes about 3 minutes and like 20-ish seconds. And as I said, to close off the video, I'll just mute it, and then I'll show it to you without any kind of interruptions. So that way you're able to see what it's like without having to experience, obviously, it being paused for every 2 seconds. So I'll do that now.